Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic night or fantastic day, wherever you are around the world, anyway. And hopefully, everyone is having a fantastic day. Of course, for some reason, I thought the whole of today it's been Monday, but instead it's a Tuesday. So hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday from wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to another news episode for you guys tonight. I think a lot of people I'm looking forward to this, or not looking forward to it, depending on on the news I'm about to say. Anyway, but of course, thank you very much for everyone that tuned in as well. And of course, we're going to be talking about Luis Diaz returning finally after what has been forever out injured. He is set to return against Manchester City. We'll be speaking about that in tonight's episode as well. Of course, we'll be speaking about Thiago Alcantara as well, and of course, obviously, he looks like he's going to be out of the Manchester City game as well. And we're also going to be speaking about Jurgen Klopp as well. This I'm saying reportedly. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp has confirmed he's going to be a grandfather as well. So that's very, very fantastic, brilliant news in that regard as well. Anyway, of course, we'll be speaking a bit more as well. If there's any other things that you guys have seen or anything like that, then let me know in the comment section down below, or anything of that. Anything you guys want to mention, anything you've seen, then let me know as well in the comment section down below. Whereas then saying big up Connor as well, saying I would only bench Luis Diaz versus City and bring him on in the last 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how fit he is as well. Obviously, we'll be speaking a bit about Luis Diaz, of course, to begin with. Yes, lads, as well. Hello, hello. Jack was just speaking to you just now. Hey, Jack, how are you doing as well? Obviously, that's Jack's link in the comments. Not too bad, but live in a bit. Yeah, Jack will be live in a bit as well. We're gonna try. We spoke about this just now about dual streaming. Like now, StreamYard has a thing. I think even YouTube has on their own system as well in terms of you can stream on two channels now at the same time. So if there is, like, for example, like breaking news or anything like that, then again you can go live at the same time, and I think it's like the same stream. I think anyway, but again we have to test that out. So that will be interesting at least anyway. But Ricky's in saying yes, lad. Hello to Ricky. Yes, fellas from Tom. How are you with Colin? No wonder we are late. Lol. We're not that late. Like we were late, but we weren't that late. I don't think, was we, chat? Normally, normally I go live 3 minutes past the hour. I think I was about 6 minutes past the hour, so a little bit late, just a little bit late. Anyway, obviously that's the 1892 Reds TV link as well. Thank you, Mark, for putting that in. It's Ricky Ladd as well. And again, guys, let me know your thoughts on all the stories as well that we do mention in tonight's episode as well. And Jack Lad as well. And no problem, Mark, you okay in the comment section down below. But I want to quickly, before we do get into the news, I do want to quickly bring up as well. We have episodes of Liverpool potential signings premiering tomorrow. It is about Mason Mount. We do go a bit in depth speaking about it. It's about 14 minutes long, around that. Try to get it as short as possible. It's kind of like we talk through it, and like a little bit we look at again what he could bring towards Liverpool and so on as well. Again, it's a trial and an era period a little bit, because again I think I put on the community tab, and I think it was 50-50 on the votes on whether or not to do it live or pre-record. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one pre-recorded, and I'm going to do one live probably next week now, and we'll have a look on how it does and so on, and again the interaction of it as well, because that's the main thing. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the particular player, and just genuinely get an interaction of the player and so forth. Anyway, in that regard, to be fair, but again, 3 p.m. tomorrow is the Mason Mount video anyway for you guys. But we will move on, and we're going to speak, of course, about Luis Diaz. Jesus Christ, how much have we missed him this season? Anyway, but again, it's fantastic to hear. Anyway, the fact that he is now in full team training as well. Obviously today, probably Saraya, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Again, he was the guy that broke the news that Luis Diaz would be joining Liverpool. obviously way back when. But again, he's obviously Dominic King broke the news earlier on today. But as he said today, Luis Diaz back in first team training with Liverpool after 5 months out of absence, confirmed as reported by Dominic King. Colombian received medical and sports approval yesterday. His return to the pitch will be dependent on Jurgen Klopp's decision as well, which again is fantastic to hear, and it does now bring up that conversation of, does Luis Diaz start or have some sort of feature against Manchester City? Obviously, with him being 5 months out injured, again, that's not the best thing when I'm gonna say, with that. But for me, look, I'd love him to start. I'd love him to play 50, 60 minutes, but I don't think Luis Diaz is going to be rushed back. We've seen how Jota hasn't reacted in that regard. We again, obviously, it's two different players. We don't know, with each player how everyone reacts. We've seen how badly Jota's reacted to coming straight into the team and trying to find fitness straight off the bat, coming off, even the same period, same time out then. In that regard, I think even Luis Diaz might be a bit longer than Diogo Jota, but in terms of just easing him back in, I'd much rather keep Luis Diaz fit and healthy for next season than risk him for these 12 games. If there's a possibility he's 100% fine and nothing will go wrong, then fine. The next, the last 8 games of the season, maybe. You could 8 to 6 games of the season, you might be able to play him in and see what happens there. But for me personally, I just wouldn't want to risk Luis Diaz getting injured, because again, look how bad it was. Obviously, him getting injured against Arsenal, didn't have surgery. Tried to get back around December time. Obviously, had that training camp and then got injured again, and then needed surgery. So again, realistically, surgery would have been the best bet to begin with from that Arsenal injury. But again, it's that fact that I just don't want him injured again, because like we're saying how Allison and well, Allison's been our best player this season, and he has by a country mile. But outfield players, I feel like before his injury, Luis Diaz was on another level compared to even Mo, Darwin, and many others in the Liverpool team this season. And I think even if you look at certain individual games, Luis Diaz carried us at times, and that's the problem. This has been the worst period of his career in terms of injuries. If you look before it, I think he only had I think even like 2 or 3 days out injured at Porto. So again, I know plenty of people will have a go at the medical department, and I know other people will have different thoughts and different opinions as well. So let me know your guys' thoughts as well. But let me know, would you start him, or would you be? I think the best bet, or the best question to ask: does Luis Diaz have any part against Manchester City? I think that's the best question to ask as well. I think plenty of people will say no. I think some people might say yes as well. For me, if it's possible that he can feature without it being a problem or without it anything being wrong, then I think on the bench. I think maybe for Saturday as well, because again, 12:30 on Saturday is going to be an absolute killer, especially when it's against Manchester City as well, which is absolutely horrific as well to even think about anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts as well in the comment section down below anyway. But what else do we have? Jack saying 11 in should have 11 likes. Chat, come on, walk alone as well. Yeah, if you could, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button as well. If there's anyone new, yeah, and good, thanks as well, says Mark. Oh, I see. Lol. Philip's in as well, saying if Diaz is back for the City match, I hope Klopp isn't thinking of starting him in the starting 11. Says Philip as well. Again, I'm a bit like this. I'm like 50-50. Because I am just a little bit like, screw it. The season's already buggered. Just bug it up even more. 40, I think that's 40 million on Mason Mount. Well, where did you find all the material as well? Again, it wasn't that bad, to be fair on him. What else do we have? At Mark at Phil, big up lads as well. Elliot on for England. Yeah, well, to be fair, Curtis Jones is playing at the false nine tonight. I don't know how he's got on tonight, but it'd be interesting to see, what he does. I know that he scored a Darwin Nunez-esque goal, I think a couple of days ago. So again, the false hope on Curtis Jones is mad. But again, obviously, I think England are trying to find his best position, so I don't know whether or not Jurgen's going to start using him in the false nine, maybe against City. Who knows? See how long Diaz lasts. Hope he stays fit. I think, again, it's the fact of, again, hopefully not re-injuring the knee, because, again, Luis Diaz has been by far Liverpool's best outfield player this season, and he's been injured for 5 months of it. So, what does that tell you? But yeah, for me, if I don't want any complications, just even if he has to sacrifice the rest of the season and come back, better, stronger, and ready for next season, I'm more than happy with that. In that regard, anyway. But Evening Jack says Phil as well. We were rushing him back. That's how he got hurt again. That is true. Very, very true. Mark, Diaz should not start, says Ricky. I would agree. I think, look, if it's possible, maybe the last 15 minutes against City, maybe. But again, with him now, with obviously Luis Diaz coming back, Liverpool have a full strength attacking lineup. So I wouldn't be surprised Liverpool start playing forward top, if I'm being honest, in most games. But again, look how well that did against Bournemouth and Real Madrid. Didn't do anything, did it? No, don't play him yet as well, says Mark. Evening Eamon as well. Oh yeah, Eamon's in as well, saying Diaz won't feature, can't see it as well. I don't think Jurgen will want to rush him back. If I'm being honest, I think I would say he'd be on the bench against City, but starting wise, no, I don't think he'll start against City. Hello, Mark as well, says Chris. What else do we have? England losing 2-0. Jesus Christ. Who are we losing to? Chat, let me know. I don't know who they're playing tonight. Good at England lose as well. Diaz should be on the bench at least, and if he comes on, then only for the last 5 to 10 minutes as well. I would agree. Liverpool first, South Africa second, and anyone who plays against England then could as well, says Chris anyway. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts anyway on Luis Diaz. For me, I think it is pretty much him being on the bench. If there's a possibility of him coming on, then fair enough. But again, it's good news the fact that the knee is medically okay to go. But of course, obviously, you've got to get him back up to speed and so forth as well. So again, hopefully, maybe even a week or two, Luis Diaz might be starting for Liverpool as well in what could be a saviour to our season, realistically, trying to get top four in that regard. Anyway, but we are going to move on then and talk about the depressing part of the video. I think a little bit. And I don't want it to be, but it is, unfortunately. Of course, we are going to talk. Jesus Christ, I hate reporting on things like this. Obviously, we are going to talk about Thiago Alcantara and the news, mainly from not David Ornstein, sorry, from David Lynch. Confirming that Thiago Alcantara is not expected to be back in time for Liverpool's trip to Manchester City. Of course, he still has that hip problem that has kept him out now for 45 days for Liverpool at the moment, which again has cost Liverpool 9 games in that run. We are going to quickly look at Thiago's injury record as well at Liverpool. But again, Thiago not being fit and ready for Manchester City is a massive blow. I think considering the fact that I think Jurgen was pretty much confident that Liverpool would be able to get him fit and ready for the Man City game. And again, it's that fact that, again, Thiago can't be relied on. Even though he is amazing. I say he's amazing. Again, if I could give him a whole new legs and knees and hips, I would. Because again, I think Thiago is a brilliant footballer. It's just the problem is he's never fit. And that's the crying shame in all of this, is the fact that, again, we bought Thiago to be in these types of games against Manchester City on the weekend, and again, he's not available in that regard anyway. But I'm going to quickly bring up Thiago's injury record, and I think I looked. I think he's had 8 serious injuries at Liverpool. I'm going to quickly make this a bit bigger for you guys as well. Anyway, please ignore anything that is on the side. Again, I can't turn off the adverts for some reason. But yeah, the current problem with his hip flex as well, obviously, I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, it's kept him out for 45 days now, and he's missed 9 Liverpool games at the moment. But you look at his history, again, how many he's got: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, 7 injuries, sorry, that he has picked up. And they're all different injuries as well, apart from COVID, in that regard as well, which again isn't great. And you look at the amount of games that he's missed for Liverpool. Again, 2021 was 17 games, 10 games there, 3 games, 7 games, 3 games, 6 games, and then 9 games again in that regard. But again, the counter argument to showing this is the fact that Thiago, he's had to play because there hasn't been anybody else to play, or there's players that haven't been good enough to play this season. So again, we've had to overwork Thiago, and that's the sense I feel like with Thiago, is the fact we overwork him, and then he's out then for like the next 4 to 6 weeks, and then we do exactly the same, and then he's out again for another 4 to 6 weeks. Again, it's very frustrating. I know I've already seen a couple of you guys saying that we should sell Thiago in that regard, obviously with him having 1 year left on his deal. I think that if I'm being honest, I think Thiago, he is a luxury player, but again, I think Liverpool are a lot better keeping him around than selling him off for what, 5 million, 10 million at least, maybe. But Thiago, mate, I'd sell him as well, obviously, says Chris. Again, I personally wouldn't, if I'm being honest. But wow, how long do you think it would take to replace all of them and the cost? I wouldn't want to imagine, if I'm being honest. That's obviously that comment from Chris there as well. Yeah, Jesus Christ, that would take at least 2-3 seasons, I think. Anyway, I'm saying this because these players are done, move them on before we get nothing. Again, we're not going to get a huge amount for any of them. Hang on, let me have a look again. The players you mentioned, Chris. Yeah, even for there, Adrian's going on a free. Matip will leave in the summer if he leaves, or he'll leave on a free. And now, the majority of them are either loans or don't have much value. I disagree with Salah and Jota in that regard. I don't think any of them going anywhere. I think Salah's most likely to go before Diogo Jota as well. Everyone you see what I'm saying, 15 players in our squad, move them on. That's impossible to do, Chris, if we're being honest. I get what you mean, but and I agree with Jack, but it is time to be ruthless. But again, you can't get rid of 15 players in a season. Yeah, you can, in that sense, in terms of people you don't use, but the majority of them are first team players. You can't get not Liverpool. We could if it was Chelsea, then maybe, or Man City, but not Liverpool. We can't get rid of 15 players in one summer. It would take probably 2 or 3 years to move everyone around. I know what you're saying, but it's not a one season rebuild exactly, Mark. It's more of 3 years, I would say anyway. But every player in the squad is injury prone. The only one that isn't is Mo Salah. Alisson, maybe. I think Ali's got a bit better with injuries as well. But yeah, I would agree, Zane, as well. Good seeing you as well, and good at World TV. Thanks, La. Hope you are too. Hello, Zane, as well. What else do we have? For some reason, StreamYard's not working that good tonight. Jack saying we've kept hold of Nat Phillips for far too long. We're wanting too much by the looks of it. Yeah, exactly. I think it's weird how Nat Phillips has worked out, because obviously last summer it looked like he was going to go, wasn't it? And then obviously I think Virgil got injured, didn't he? When I think he was literally about to go. So And then Jurgen was like, "Yep, we can't let him go in that regard." But again, for me, and it'd be interesting chat, like how, like especially this summer with Jurgen supposedly speaking about a total clear out in terms of, look, we're going to get people in the door and we're going to get people out of the door in that regard. I wonder whether or not Liverpool are going to go a bit lower in their estimated value of players in that regard. Like obviously Nat Phillips, I still think Liverpool are looking around 15-20 million for him. But quite clearly, I think the only team that's made like serious progress in that Phillips, I think, was Bournemouth, but they offered like 6-7 million, and then I think it was like the rest of it was in add-ons, and like it was impossible add-ons or so forth as well. In terms, and then it would have gone up to like 20 million, but realistically, it was practically impossible. I think with what the deal that Bournemouth wanted in that regard. So again, I do agree. I do agree with everyone. I do think that Liverpool do need to be ruthless, but I do also feel like they're not gonna. I think they'll come down in the evaluation to some players, and then other players they'll be like, no, we're keeping the morals, and we want this amount for certain players in that regard. But I'm so disappointed in Trent. The boy is talented, but his attitude lately is poor, and he represents Liverpool. Yeah, I'd agree. Trent hasn't covered himself in glory. I do think though I do think people are being critical about him, especially the second half. Like since the World Cup, I think Trent's been one of Liverpool's better players. He hasn't been perfect, and I'm not saying that, but I do think he has been. Like, look at the Champions League exit, for example. Like, obviously, I know plenty of people were talking about him after the game and mentioning like his problems and that, and I'm like, it's not only him. Like the problems, there's major problems. The centre back wise, midfield wise, forward wise. Like nothing's working at the moment. But again, Trent got the back end of it. Again, I do think I think that Trent has been not he's been up there since the second half of the season. I'd say in terms of not too bad. Anyway, I'd say, but everyone just been chocker with you, Neela. Hopefully, I'll be free for a show later. I think Jack waiting for me to finish, and then because he was like, "Oh, you took my time." I was like, "I don't know what was like that." Again, I'm joking. Liverpool do have themselves to blame. They do, and what I don't think any of us are ready is if we've heard all summer long the fact that there's going to be a rebuild and then a rebuild doesn't happen. Could you imagine the Twitter meltdown and the social media meltdown? It will be hilarious. It'll be terrible, but it'll be hilariously bad as well. And people will be like, see, oh, FSG this, FSG that. What's Klopp doing? Blah blah blah. Again, people will just absolutely lose their absolute shit. Sorry for swearing as well, but they would. Klopp's rebuild is only half done. Big summer ahead. Absolutely agree. Starts with Jude Bellingham, my opinion. Sign Bellingham, Gavi, I think that's Gavidal, and Rice. That's never happening. I'm not gonna lie. Bellingham, yes. Gavi, no. I think Gavi's going to Bayern. Gavidal, yes, but next summer. And then Declan Rice, I think he's going to Arsenal. Most people will have this. But yeah, again, obviously Jack's link in the comments. Thank you, Mark, for that. Keep you ahead in the books. For Talk TV. Would rather a slow rebuild buying quality players than just bargain basement shopping as well. I think plenty of people have that thought and opinion. Like I think with Jude Bellingham, I think obviously people are like, oh, we're not going to sign. If we sign Jude Bellingham, we're not going to sign players. Of course, we're going to sign players. Like this, like I feel like people don't realize that. Again, Liverpool knew that this was going to happen. Like again, and you hear the stories like, oh, this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. And the stories that have come out so far in terms of negative ways with Jude Bellingham, like the other day with David Ornstein, and of course that's not his fault. And again, I think plenty of social media Liverpool supporters were again going at him and was like, oh, this, that, and the other. for me, I think that obviously the number one thing is getting bodies in the door. But I think once you've had such a big target for so long, I think you've obviously kept funds away for that, and then the rest of it then you would have brought in for that. I think that if I'm being honest, I think Liverpool have a lot more funds than what people are crediting for in terms of we didn't get anyone in January. I think that's the thing. And again, we have been let down 1,000 times by FSG, and I'm not saying we haven't, but I have the hope that Jurgen Klopp has been furious enough to get things going early, because we hear things about now, don't we? About whether or not Liverpool are going after this player. We knew this time last year that Ibu Konate was coming to Liverpool, in that regard. And again, the sooner the Bellingham stuff is done and dusted with, whether or not he's coming to Liverpool, whether or not he's going to Madrid or City, the sooner it's done, the better for everyone. And that's the thing. But for me, I think Liverpool get at least three, including Bellingham. I think Liverpool get three midfielders in the door, if I'm being honest. Um, but that's all I'm going to say anyway. But because Trent is good, he needs a bit of criticism, not negativity, just constructive. Yeah, exactly. Again, and I'm one of these people that don't think Trent should go in midfield. He's done that this season. Again, we're going to do a video on it, I think, next week, talking about it. When you think about it, he's no longer playing as a winger. Like everyone, obviously Trent and Robbo, everyone knows they're wingmen. Like they bomb forward. This season in particular, Liverpool have done the tactic of where you'd have, like, similar like how City have done it, where they've obviously got, say, Rodri, Laporte and Diaz. That will be the three that defend, and then you have then obviously back last season like Zinchenko and Walker coming inside, and Walker would act, or Cancelo would act like a midfielder. Liverpool have done that this season. It hasn't worked, and particularly that's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Again, it doesn't work. And again, in my opinion, Trent is at his best when he's wide. When he's wide, acting like that extra winger, and obviously with Trent's crossing and obviously finding the capability of finding anyone on a pitch, it goes to then again where for me Trent is better out wide. Don't stop it with this midfield crap. Again, if Liverpool playing 4-3-3 and and you take him into that 8 and the more advanced 8, maybe, but again we haven't seen that. But at this present moment in time, where we're playing, Mo a bit wider, Harvey Elliott cutting inside, and Trent as that like midfielder, doesn't work. It really doesn't work. But again, we're going to do a video on that anyway. I want a little bit of a rant then. But yeah, it's not going to happen in that regard. Lad Mason Mount is poor man's Bentley. Jesus Christ, what an absolute player he was. Was Bentley's most famous moment that goal against Arsenal? I think maybe, unless I'm thinking of someone else. What's the biggest priority for you this summer that the club needs to address? Midfield, if I'm being honest. Actually, no. I will rephrase that. On the pitch, midfield, in general, medical department. Get the medical department like it was between 2017 and 2020. Get it like it was like that then. Like Liverpool, in my opinion, I think had the best medical department in the Premier League. I'm not going to say Europe because I'm not sure on particular teams and so on. That for me is the most important period. Look at the amount of hamstring problems Liverpool have had, especially in the last 2 years. It's not good enough. Like I think Liverpool have had, I think it was like 123 hamstring problems in the last season or season and a half. Like it's really not good enough. But on the field, midfielders, I would say. I think Liverpool can get away with not signing a centre half, maybe in the summer. I say that now. Obviously, I know that Dave Manick just mentioned Ndika, and that I'd like Ndika at Liverpool. I think if you can get either get a defender that's cheap or is on a free transfer, that's fair enough. I don't think Liverpool will spend out money on defenders this season. I don't even think people saying Garvidal. I don't think Garvidal moves. Like, even if Liverpool don't come in, I don't think he goes anyway in the summer. I think Leipzig are being quite blunt and going, yeah, we don't want anyone coming in for Garvidal because we're just going to reject it straight away. So I think next summer he'll move on because they know he wants the Premier League move. But it's like they said, or that I think the CEO said, we know he wants a Premier League move, but he has never said when he wants the Premier League move. So I think that's the interesting part around it, where I think next summer will be the one for his move anyway. But no mount as well, says Chris anyway. But Lavagna, I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, apologies if I butchered your name. Thank you very much for popping in, my friend, as well. I think you're new around here as well, so thank you very much for commenting. Thiago first said to be out for 4 weeks, then now he's out for the whole season. Great. What's the mid arrangement? Now, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Again, he's not out for the season. Mate, I think, well, I'm saying that. There's been no official confirmation on that, but judging from what has been said, or reported anyway today, is the fact that Liverpool don't think he's anywhere near ready enough to be back. So it's not great news, is it? But thank you very much for commenting as well. Obviously, Jack, obviously saying as well, big up, mate. I hope you're having a great day as well. Obviously, Mark saying hello as well. And like I said, guys, if there's anyone new around here as well, then please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button as well. We do have a Discord channel as well. I would like to say that as well. Let me quickly get the Discord sign. We do have a Discord as well. So again, if you guys want to join it, it is in the, I think, the last link in the description down below. If you guys want to join and so forth as well, we speak again about Liverpool news, transfers, all that good stuff. Footy chat as well. Obviously, there are a couple of people already in it as well. Obviously, I think it's better interaction with people as well. I think, but again, we are still trying to figure out as we go along. Anyway, but what else do we have anyway? Chris saying, how can Thiago be our best player if always injured? Come on, can't keep signing players that are injury prone. I don't think he is our best player. I don't think I did say he was our best player. Again, is he our best midfielder when he's fit? Technically, probably. Again, though, I want Liverpool to go back to 18-19 Liverpool, not technical, just high press, high intensity, compact midfield. That's what I want Liverpool to be back to. But again, I can have my wishes. Obviously, Jude, as well as Ricky. Thiago needs to go in the summer. Again, I don't think he does. Again, how much do you sell him for? That's the big question. I think on many people's minds is, how much do you sell Thiago for? I ain't got a clue. Scotland is smashing Spain. Is this still 2-0? Or is it 3-0? Drop a like, chat as well. Yeah, very much appreciate it. I'm gonna have a quick look how many likes we're on. There's, I think, 19 people in here at the moment. So if we can get to what likes are we on? We're on 15 likes. If we can get to, let's say, 20, very much appreciated as well. But come on, Scotland, we're smashing Spain as well. Let me know, guys, in the chat. Is it 2-0? Is it 1-0? Let me know. What else do we have? Liverpool, I wish can go back to the whole badge. I miss it. I think that won't change now for a while. I don't think, to be fair. We need to play 5 at the back to augment Trent's strength these days. What's happened? I don't think we need any back 5, I'm being honest, Eamon. I think just a midfield to cover him. I think Trent, the best time was when Trent, Hendo, and Mo was working very good and very well together. Now it seems to be like it's just disjointed so much. But again, I think it's interesting the fact that the midfielders that Liverpool have been linked with, and of course there's been loads of them. It just brings you a little bit, and when you think about it, it's like you've got a pile of midfielders that are like technically gifted and like sound in many areas. Then there are other areas they lack, and you've got other midfielders that are the opposite to that. Like it just feels like there's no concrete evidence of, apart from, of course, like I'll mention again, Jude Bellingham. There's no concrete evidence to suggest Liverpool going after that midfielder. It's like, yeah, sure, just link us with every single one. Zero Napoli to win the Champions League, or Napoli to win the Champions League. I agree. I think Napoli will win the Champions League. Also, thank you, Mark, for putting the Discord link in. Obviously, that is the link for the Discord, guys, as well. If you guys want to join, it's completely free as well. So, again, please join. Let's get to 20 likes. Absolutely. De Bruyne, a goal and 2 assists tonight, hitting form at the right time. Yeah, Zane, it's a quite a, I don't want to think about Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland until Friday, until we do the preview show. I really don't want to think about that. Saying crazy how Pep hasn't played him that much for City this season. Well, I think we were speaking about it, wasn't we, Jack? In terms of, I think Pep might, like, there was conversations, wasn't it, that Pep might be out of favour, or like Kevin De Bruyne might be out of favour with Pep Guardiola. And if that is the case, then geez, do you want to put a bid in for Kevin De Bruyne? Chat. I mean, again, I would have loved Kevin De Bruyne joining Liverpool from Wolfsburg back in the day. Could you imagine how different it would have been now in that regard? But yeah, even still, again, it's still annoying though, like how nobody went for De Bruyne and City just got a clear path towards Kevin De Bruyne, which again, fair play to them. Anyway, in that regard, because again, they did sign one of the best midfielders in the bloody world. Anyway, but we are going to talk a little bit anyway. Well, I say a little bit. We're going to talk about Jurgen Klopp now for the last story. We could get up the tweet. Anyway, we mentioned earlier on Twitter for you guys, and that is that Jurgen Klopp is going to be a granddad, which was good news this morning. Of course, let me quickly get that up. Yeah, there we go. Again, so you see there, Jurgen Klopp is confirmed. He is about to become a grandfather. Obviously, we congratulated Jurgen as well, which is obviously fantastic news as well. I believe that'll be his first as well. Again, obviously becoming a granddad. So yeah, obviously great news. Obviously on the personal side of Jurgen as well. Because again, like obviously we've woken up to news obviously on Twitter, and it's like, oh, it's like poor news, obviously an injury or so forth. It was actually nice to hear about some positive and happy news in that regard, and for a different change in that aspect of things anyway. But I think the most important question is, can we get the baby ready to play in midfield for Liverpool? Thank you very much. Obviously, I'm joking with that anyway, but yeah, obviously congratulations to Jurgen and Jurgen's family as well. Let's talk Liverpool top four. Can we do it, or will we? Can we do it, or will we do it? I think Liverpool can do it. Problem is, you've got the next 3 games will be. I think City is a pass realistically. So if Liverpool was to lose against City, I think that's fair enough. I think in that regard, I think the Chelsea game and the Arsenal game, I think is huge. Especially, and Arsenal wouldn't be because of course where they are and how well they're doing this season. But especially with it being at Anfield, I think obviously we expect an expectation of it as well. And if Liverpool can get minimum 6 points out of the 3 games, then I think that's a positive thing. But again, knowing Liverpool, we just completely throw it away like we've always done. Or like we'll beat City 1-0 again and then lose to Chelsea like 2-0, 3-0 or something like that. It's just stupid this season of how inconsistent we've been. But can Liverpool do it? Absolutely. Will they do it is another bloody question. Kevin De Bruyne, he's a Liverpool fan. He is indeed a Liverpool fan as well. And him and Virgil, very good friends as well. Which if I think there was an interview that I think BT did I think back like 2-3 months ago. It's actually a very good watch between Kevin De Bruyne and Virgil van Dijk, at least anyway. But yeah, I think you guys will enjoy that anyway. But we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Anyway, big thank you to all of you guys for tuning in to a news episode. I'm going to quickly look. We're on 18 likes, so if we can get to 20, that'd be very much appreciated anyway. But we have spoken about tonight, of course. Luis Diaz has returned to full training for Liverpool and could feature against Manchester City, which of course is fantastic news in that regard. We've spoken about Thiago Alcantara as well. He won't play against Manchester City. He is still out with his hamstring problem. Not hamstring problem, sorry, his hip problem at the moment. And of course, we've spoken about Jurgen Klopp as well, and him becoming a grandfather as well, which is absolutely fantastic news to hear as well. Anyway, but of course, hopefully we'll hear a bit more news, obviously, in the next couple of days or two. I don't know if the boys are still here, if Ricky is still here. Of course, I am a quiz master tomorrow, which should be fun. I can't wait to absolutely torture, obviously, um, Jack and obviously Ricky as well, and Tom. I think Tom's on as well. Obviously, the quiz tomorrow over on the 1892 Reds TV. Obviously, they do it weekly. Premier League quiz. I couldn't think of the quiz then. So yeah, there is a Premier League quiz tomorrow at 7 p.m. It is on the boys' channel. It is anyway. So again, I will be host over on there while the boys try and figure out my questions. Anyway. And the one thing I will say, if they are still here, so Jack, oh, I know you're still here, so you'll get a clue. The only thing I will say, the boys love to call me Conor Romano. So again, the first part of the quiz will be about transfers. So that's the only clue I'm going to be given. So there we go. But Premier League ones as well, anyway. But again, that'll be an interesting clue. Obviously, Jack's going to be writing down the answers. Like, oh, he told us this anyway. But yeah, if everyone is still then they will know that I just said that as well anyway. But until next time, guys, that is going to be it from me anyway. Hopefully we'll have some news tomorrow well, hopefully we'll have some news on anything in that regard. But if not, I will be on the 1882 Reds TV channel anyway tomorrow, so go and check that out, guys, as well anyway. But I've been Connor from the Club Council. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ta-ra.